has been a drastic rise in the number of homeless individuals in America. There are multiple hypotheses around what causes this increase. One hypothesis, which is receiving much attention, is the idea that mental health policies are severely underserving these marginalized people, resulting in an increase in the homeless population in America. Two main policies are being looked at. First, the deinstitutionalization of psychiatric hospitals, which includes the failure of aftercare and community support programs, which can leave people without the proper tools to thrive and can result in homelessness. Second, a further restriction on admission policies that function to keep all but the most severely mentally ill people out of psychiatric hospitals also leaves marginalized people without care or structural support, which can also result in homelessness. Being TEFL and Howe developed an operational definition of homelessness to guide respondent identification and selection. This definition specified 4 types or levels of homelessness. 1. Limited or no shelter for any length of time. 2. Shelters or missions run by religious organizations or public agencies. The facilities are operated specifically for homeless people on a drop-in basis and charge no fee or minimal fee. 3. Cheap hotels or motels when actual length of stay or the intent to stay is 45 days or less. And 4. Other unique situations that do not fall into the first 3 categories and the actual length of stay or the intent to stay is less than 45 days. Interviewers were trained to use random selection methods within various interview sites wherever possible in selecting the homeless persons to be interviewed. This, while it was impossible to use random sampling plan that was representative of the state and to allow examination of both urban and non-urban homelessness. The approach to the assessment of the mental health status of the group was within a traditional epidemiological framework. One of the first discoveries made in designing the study was that there is no concordance among epidemiologists or mental health researchers about the most appropriate way to assess mental health need or psychiatric status. Traditional interpretations about psychiatric symptomology among homeless people were confounded by the fact that homeless lifestyle typically includes characteristics and behaviors that can result either from mental illness or the stresses of street life or both. High reported rates of disturbances among the homeless are likely a consequence of a focus on behavioral characteristics. Such a focus could be misleading because some behaviors and characteristics that are related to psychiatric disorder also are closely interwoven with the stresses of street life. Both clinicians and epidemiologists must be critically aware of the presence of information that can function to distort a true clinical picture. Another issue that has important implications in both the assessment process and in the interpretation of findings is the perspective on the causal relationship between homelessness and mental illness. Some people believe that homeless people are psychiatrically impaired by virtue of their condition. For these people, homelessness becomes a principal diagnostic influence. Others, however, believe that mental illness interacts in different ways with homelessness. It may be the cause, but it also may be the result of a homeless lifestyle. Homeless people certainly process many of the characteristics that have been found to increase the risks of mental illness. Poor minorities, minimal social support, general disenfranchisement. Preconceived notions about the causal link between mental illness and homelessness introduces an insidious bias that can distort seriously prevalence estimates and clinical profiles. In summary, the overlap between homelessness and mental illness is where the tangled web of association between mental disorders and social conditions exists.